This is Zach,
This is Matthew.
This is Jamie.
This is Carson.
and this is Beyond the Stands. This week, you can see we got a new face cam, and you can now see us. As you can see, Carson, Jamie, and Murray. For any first-time listeners or someone that don't go to Happy Valley, we'll start off this week. Let's all go with our games of the week because this week is a bunch of conference battles for who gets conference titles. Dobbins Bennett, Science Hill, Unicoi Joco, Cosby and North Green. All those games being who gets conference, and a big week for playoff spots too. Carson, start off with your game of the week.
My game of the week has to be Dobbins Bennett and Science Hill.
Yeah, good game. Good skill between both teams. Great linebacker play from Dobbins Bennett. Good defense from Dobbins Bennett. Explosive offense from Science Hill. Murray, talk about Dobbins Bennett and Science Hill.
That's also my game of the week. I like Dobbins Bennett's defense. I think Science Hill. I think their offense is probably like the best out of all those teams.
It's gonna be a good matchup.
But I think Dobbins Bennett's defense is just better than their offense. But I don't look at any team destroying one another. I think it'll probably be a close game.
Yeah, very close. Mayhem and Maroon at ETSU. A big game for both teams. Whoever wins that game gets first. The loser gets second, which is still good. A good home playoff game, and you get one of the lower seeds instead of one of the higher seeds you have to play. Another conference game we didn't mention for conference is Elizabeth and Greenville. Dry Griffith transferred midway from Elizabethan to Greenville, so a lot of people are looking for him to have a big game. A lot of controversy on the bar stools they've been posting on.
Oh yeah, dude,
Yeah.
That one video was crazy.
Deep stuff.
Yeah.
Deep stuff.
Yeah, so that game is probably going to be a bloodbath. A bunch of fights, I would say, is going to break out in that game.
For sure. I feel like they're gonna target Dry kind of.
Yeah, definitely. Like try to hurt him on the ground, like after they tackle him, like twist his ankle. You see that a lot in football, believe it or not. Like just everyone's grabbing whatever they can get. And
especially in the piles. Yeah.
I think Greenville will win, but I don't think it'll be by like a lot.
I
I don't think it'll be a blowout.
I think Greenville at least wins.
I see it as like a 7-21, 28 game.
I'm thinking like 35-7.
I don't know about 45-7.
No, 35-7.
35-7 Yeah, that's
like not like you got destroyed, but like
35-14.
you still lost pretty bad.
Well,
35-14 or 28-14. That's probably
So like 2 score, 3 score, like
28-14 is probably my prediction. I'd say.
well. Greenville played good with Alcoa, which is a very good football team, as we all know, and Elizabethan. I mean, they haven't had crazy competition this year. Whenever they did against Science Hill, you could see they lost. And I just don't think Elizabethan's going to come to play against Greenville. I think Greenville's rushing attack's going to kill them with Carson Quillen. Carson Quillen being one of the better running backs in this area. I mean, I don't see Elizabethan winning this game. It'd be a very big surprise to me if they win it. I think Rhett Slagle's going to have a tough game against Greenville's defense. So I've got Greenville winning 35-7. Carson, who do you got winning?
I'm going to go with Greenville in this one. Greenville just being a school that's really just always loaded from head to toe with talent. And E-Town, like, this is kind of one of the years where they don't really have that much talent on both sides of the ball like Greenville does.
Yeah.
So I could easily see Greenville winning by like a large margin like everyone else is.
Also, E-Town losing star corner A.J. Campbell
oh man.
to a collarbone injury.
I wouldn't put star next to his name, but
yeah.
yeah, like it's you lose a bunch of guys, but it's whatever. I don't really think that.
I don't believe Greenville has many injuries either, and I'm not sure Greenville's quarterback's name, but I mean I know they rely so much.
If we want to talk about injuries, let's move on to Happy Valley West Green.
Yeah. Tonight, this is a game for us. A few games being played tonight. 2 from our conference, Hampton and South Green, Happy Valley West Green. So both Carter County teams are going to Greene County teams. South Green, West Green played last week, I believe.
I think South Green was like 41-7.
Yeah,
Was it 41-7?
I think so.
I think it was 41-7.
Something like that. And Knees had a good game, I believe it was. Yeah, the backup running back. It may just be South Green's O-line.
It could very
because
well
Nash
be that.
Rader succeeded. I mean, Knees is succeeding just as much as Nash Rader.
Oh, no, dude,
I think Rader's
their
already
O-line
back.
was crazy.
They're pretty good.
I went against
Big size.
that Seth Franklin kid.
Yeah.
Dude, it was bad.
So let's talk about South Green Hampton before Happy Valley West Green. We have no chance to get first. South Green has secured the number 1 spot in our conference. We have secured number 2. But this game is big for West Green. It isn't big for West Green. West Green can't make the playoffs, but it's big for around our conference. So Hampton, South Green, Hampton really playing to not play York. But South Green, I mean, they're
They have that.
star-studded.
Yeah. They. I see they could. I think they could like win. I mean, they want to win, but I don't see them putting their starters out the entire time. Because if you get someone hurt, that could really hurt you in
Well,
the playoffs.
talking about injuries, Hampton last week at Eagleton with the Clash for Compassion losing Maddox and who else? Their quarterback they lost in the first quarter.
Oh, yeah.
It was looking good against Eagleton. That game was for third place and was for us to keep a
I
chance.
think they lost 2 players.
Yeah, they did. I believe. I'm not sure. I believe it was a cornerback they lost.
Yeah.
I believe. But Hampton last week, we needed them to win that Eagleton game for us to have a chance back at first. But since they lost, they don't have a chance to make like South Green, just a bunch of playoff stuff. They can't make South Green lose number 1. South Green is secured number 1 with Hampton's loss last week. I mean, I'm glad we got to. I'm glad to have a home playoff game.
Dude, I wish we could pull up a play from
as
that
long as
game,
we win.
because that one play that mattered a lot because it put them in the red zone. They
Yeah.
called pass interference on Peyton,
Yeah.
the cornerback for Hampton. It wasn't, but I think they called pass interference because he celebrated. I feel like they just called a kick because
Yeah.
I watched that whole play.
He was doing the strap thing.
But honestly, he had like great coverage and he smacked, but he didn't touch it. He smacked the ball and they called PI.
Peyton Townsend, pretty good running back and
Yeah,
quarterback.
he's a great player. I don't think he's a senior either.
But I mean, I've got South Green probably by 3-4 scores because I mean, not having Maddox, it's gonna be a Burleson show. I could bet my whole life on it right now. We'll read next week on our podcast that Burleson had over 30 carries because that's all they're gonna do is give it to Burleson and Townsend. And surprisingly, I don't see Townsend's name in papers enough. I should feel like Townsend should get more carries.
I think he got the climate controller player of the league before Jamie did.
He did.
Yeah, the
So,
Yaneka game.
Yeah.
I mean, because they played Monday and they gave it to him. I'm not sure why because there was still tons of
I
football
think it's because
games.
Dominic's already got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. But they can get it multiple times. Joseph did it multiple times. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, but on to our game, Happy Valley West Green. We need to win this to secure the number 2, secure a home playoff game. And West Green, once again, coaches preached it all week. It's kind of a hit or miss team. They could come out fire breathing dragons because it's their senior night. They're not making the playoffs. It's the last game they'll ever play for the seniors. So what do they have to lose? Throw some trick plays in there. I mean, we've been
They
practicing.
did it last year.
Yeah, last year they threw a center go route or something, and he mossed 2 of our linebackers. I couldn't believe it. My eyes deceived me. But I'm looking for them to pull some trickery out. It's senior night for them. It's at home. Seniors last hoorah. I mean, they got everything to just let it all out because they ain't making the playoffs. It's the last game they're going to play this year. And, I mean, we got a home playoff game. We could see them maybe try to fight us because get us out of the playoffs. Yeah. Help
Yeah.
South Green maybe if we end up
Jarrett's-
running.
Yeah, Jarrett's mentioned that number 2 guy for West Green. He likes to run. the
Very
ball a
versatile
lot.
athlete.
So, and I think he got into it with us last year, but former Happy Valley player AJ Campbell.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't that the play that AJ just made one of the cleanest cornerback hits, and he came flying up and was like, "Why'd you
Yeah.
hit me?"
Yeah,
But-
it's just you mentioned them having nothing to lose. I think they'll try to just do whatever they can just to throw us off our game and ruin our chances of a home playoff game. And they're expecting trick plays from them come tonight because they got nothing. Literally after this game, they turn their stuff in.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be kind of challenging for Happy Valley, but I could see us just coming out early and just hitting early and just putting it away early.
Yeah, and talking of, I'm not sure. I believe they play Friday or maybe today. Eagleton plays Cumberland Gap, and if they beat Cumberland Gap, they secure third. So that's very big for Eagleton. And Eagleton's big win last week kind of was like a dominance win after Maddox went down. I mean, their
Yeah,
quarterback,
it was kinda close
their
in the
quarterback
first
showed
half.
out.
It was close in the first half. Their quarterback went down, and Eagleton just took it there. I think the score was 36 to 20 or something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe so. 36-20, I believe, was the actual
Yeah.
score at the end. But Eagleton is number 3 with a win over Cumberland Gap. Or if Hampton loses at South Green, Eagleton secures number 3. But if Hampton wins and Eagleton loses to Cumberland Gap, Hampton gets third too. So Hampton has a really rough route because Cumberland Gap's got to beat Eagleton.
Which,
Well-
if you look at who Hampton plays and you look at who Eagleton plays, it's kind of a win-win for Eagleton. Even if they don't become Hampton
I mean,
loses to
I
South
say-
Green, you're still sitting in third place.
I feel
in the playoffs.
I feel like Cumberland Gap could beat Eagleton if they wanted to.
I don't know.
A few players on Cumberland Gap. a few players on Cumberland Gap was not bad at all. As much as people put them out as being terrible, I mean, their nose guard was pretty good. There was a few, like, they had the Fernando dude.
Yeah.
It was that French transfer student. He ran like a 60-yard run, and then thank God Tyler Bailey, I think, called
Yeah,
it.
Tyler has been.
Yeah. And
blowout.
but looking at Region 2A, it's a big shootout. That whole division is, well, York can secure number 1 with a win at Polk. And Polk it's our guess who we're going to play in the first round of the playoffs.
It'll more than likely be Polk.
I mean, it could be Polk or Tellico Plains or York. York can go down to third with a loss to Polk and Bledsoe winning over Oneida. And that's a possibility for Bledsoe to beat Oneida, because Bledsoe's number 2 right now, and Oneida's fighting for a spot.
I don't think
Oneida
can't
No,
make the
But
Yeah,
York
they
losing
can.
to Polk, that would have to be a big game. That'd have to be like a Happy Valley beats South Green last year. It would be another game like that. Like,
Yeah, Oneida will get 4th, but with a win over Bledsoe, and Telco losing to Wartburg.
and I'm not sure how good Wartburg is, but I mean, we played Oneida last year, and they was pretty good, and supposedly they returned a lot of people, and
And they're barely.
that shows
ranked.
how strong Region 2A is.
Yeah,
'Cause-
you mentioned, we pretty much have our region set.
Yeah.
As far as like first and second, but Region 2, they're still fighting for first, and even like second and third and fourth is even a toss up.
Yeah, it's
So
all
that's-
toss-ups.
Just a really good region, it seems, from Region 2A.
So for the first round, South Green could play Tellico Plains or Oneida. For the first round for us, we could play York, Bledsoe, or Polk at Happy Valley, and for Eagleton or Hampton could play at York, Bledsoe, or Polk. All those can be first. Polk can end up number 1, which is surprising because there's 3 right now. So that just shows how strong that division is, like we said.
Yeah, the talk around region, like who we're expected to play, everyone kept saying Polk,
Yeah,
but
I'm expecting Polk.
after looking at it,
There's-
we don't know who. It's just literally
Bledsoe
any
County
given
would be
week.
very tough at
Yeah.
home.
I don't think.
I mean, they gave Hampton problems last year. And
I don't think-
York beat Hampton last year, and Hampton was very good last year.
And I don't think anyone's really missing from Region 2. Bledsoe still got their guys. Oneida hasn't lost a single person except maybe 2 from their squad from last year. And York,
Not York. Oneida's got some mooses back
Yeah.
in the back.
I think one of them they actually call Moose. Like,
Yeah.
quite literally, they
I
call
wouldn't be
Moose.
surprised.
It's at number 5.
And talking about last year, Cosby not being very good last year. North Green and Cosby plays
Fighting for number 1.
fighting for number 1 Friday. That's an underrated conference matchup. As North Green, we scrimmaged them. They're a pretty good team.
They both played Cloudland and barely beat Cloudland, but I thought Cloudland was going to win this division.
Yeah, Cloudland is number 3 with a win at Yanaka, or Jellicoe beats Hancock. And I would expect Jellicoe to beat Hancock, and I would expect Cloudland to beat Yanaka. But surprisingly, Yanaka is still in playoffs. If Yanaka wins, and Jellicoe loses to Hancock County, now that is a hard thing for Yanaka to hope for. As Coach Parlier said, he's a teacher at Happy Valley. He said there's a mathematical possibility, and he winked at me.
yeah.
So I don't believe they think they're gonna make the playoffs, but there's always
There's
hope.
always a shot.
It's kind of a weird
Cloudland
year.
or Unaka at Oliver Springs.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that. In Region
Yeah.
2, in Region 2 1A, Coalfield and Oliver Springs have locked down 1 and 2. We scrimmaged Oliver Springs. Our first scrimmage ended in a fight, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Oliver Springs, that was very physical. I actually love their colors,
Yeah,
like the
they got some
LSU
cool
type of colors.
We fought with them in the second half. We started picking it up, and that's and then the fight happened. We had to leave and everything, but it's not looking good for whoever has to play Oliver Springs.
Yeah, Cloudland and Yanaka has to go to Oliver. So it looks like Cloudland's gonna have to play Oliver
They're a
Springs.
good team. I think I remember their kicker making it from like
which is
40.
which is weird
For
because
1A,
like
that's crazy.
Yeah.
You
For a
mentioned
1A kicker to make it from
when
40.
you like around here when you talk 1A ball, you always talk about how Cloudland's been dominant.
Yeah,
And, like
with the power
if-
offense.
and if like 2 years ago you would have told me that North Green and Cosby would be playing for a region championship, I probably would have told you it was crazy.
Especially Cosby. I could see North Green, but Cosby? I couldn't believe it.
I don't
Not
know.
even North Green.
Green and Cosby have just really turned around their football program, and
I mean, North
you
Green
would-
and Cosby, whoever's the winner of Rockwood and Harriman has to play the winner of Cosby. I mean, has to play the loser of Cosby North Green. I mean, North Grand and Cosby have a hard game either way. Rockwood, we played them a few years ago. I believe they must have moved down from 2A.
Yeah, they
because we
bumped
played
down
them.
after our freshman year. And you mentioned, like, if you compare the 2A regions and the 1A region, it's kind of flipped. Like, we have our region pretty much set, around here
Yeah, and
for,
then the
like,
other one,
seeding.
yeah.
And the other one's still fighting for, like, number 1 and number 2. You go to 1A, around here, we're still fighting. We're still, like, figuring out who's going to be 1, 2, or 3. And then Region 2, 1A, they have got everything set as far as 1 and 2. Now, 3 and 4 looking like a toss-up for the 2A Region 1. Or, sorry, 1A Region 2. Yeah, it's very interesting. And like you mentioned, even the winner of
Yeah.
1A Region 1, they're going to have a
Tough matchup. It just looks like Region 2A ball is just
It's-
hard-nosed ball.
Yep.
You just gotta do it. You gotta line up and deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now moving on to 3A, Johnson County Unicoi. That game is for conference, and whoever gets number 1. Johnson County is number 1 with a win at Unicoi. That's all they got to do. And Unicoi is number 1 with a win over Johnson County. This is literally winner takes number 1 and conference championship and home playoff game. Because Unicoi, if they lose to Johnson County, is number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't get a home playoff game. They got to go travel to what looks like it could be Alcoa. I mean, they could go to Alcoa, Union County. I mean, Region 2, 3A ball is very confusing right now. Everyone's still fighting for a spot, which is confusing. That's Alcoa's division.
I feel so bad for anyone that has to play Alcoa.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely.
Well,
they just beat Maryville, a 6A school.
I think Alcoa will beat Kingston, so I think they'll end up playing Kingston.
Yeah, they'll be number 1,
There's
and then
no-
poor Pigeon Forge or Claiborne has to go play.
I don't think there's anyone in 3A that can beat Alcoa. They, like you said, they just beat a 6A.
Which is like,
Maryville, and Maryville's one of the best teams in state. Like they were ranked like top
Yeah.
7 in state.
And Gatlinburg Pittman's number 3 if Unicoi wins. So, like all around, if Unicoi loses, they kind of get screwed. Like no conference championship, no home playoff game for any of their seniors. But if they win, I mean that knocks Johnson County to 2nd. Johnson County cannot go to 3rd right now, but Gatlinburg Pittman can. If Johnson County loses to Unicoi, they go to 2nd. Gatlinburg Pittman goes to 3rd. So Gatlinburg Pittman's really rooting for a Unicoi win because then they could be number 2. No, if Johnson County wins at Unicoi, so they're rooting for Johnson County because Unicoi beat them in the regular season. So, I mean, that's gonna be a tough division. Either way, you got to run into Alcoa. So
Yeah.
it don't matter.
and like Johnson County having a great year.
Losing
would-
one is so
Losing
big.
1 is very big for them, and I would see Unicoi to win at home versus Johnson County.
No, like I said, I still trust in that number 7, that Luke. I think his name is a kid. I forgot what his name is. I don't know if it's Luke or not. I might be thinking someone else. But I mean, the dude is like 6'3", 240. Like,
Yeah.
I saw that picture of him on Touchdown Friday night, and he's literally Joseph Swords, just skinnier. Like it's literally scary. It's scary.
Moving up to 4A ball, Greenville Elizabethton, winner loser, winners number 1, losers number 2, and Cherokee is locked down number 3 in 4A ball. Northview is number 4 with a win at Sullivan, or Granger, or if Granger wins at Volunteer. Granger is number 4 with a win at Volunteer, and Northview lost to Sullivan East. Sullivan East can make the playoffs and could be number 4 with a win over Northview and a
And
Granger
Granger
loss at
losing.
Volunteer.
Yeah, no.
So the bottom of Class 4A, Region 1 4A,
Complicated.
is crazy right now. That's just going to be, they're going to play out Friday, and then we'll get back to you next week. But Greenville Elizabethton, the winner's number 1, the loser's number 2. So, I mean, looking at that, they'd have to play, that's really for who's going to play Seymour and who's going to play Carter and who's going to play Gibbs and who's going to play Fulton. So, because if the loser of Gibbs and Fulton is going to play, I believe, the loser of Greenville Elizabethton. So either way, if Elizabethton loses, I believe they could take care of Gibbs and Fulton.
This is kind of weird, because like you talk about Greenville Elizabethton, the winner's number 1, and you just kind of compare the strength of schedule between Greenville and Elizabethton.
It's crazy.
You would think that
Well, I mean, Greenville, I mean, they've had to play the same 4A, Region 1 that they had, like, the conference, but, like, more than that, they played Alcoa. They played, like, good teams, and Elizabethton's played, like, Mo West.
yeah,
Like, they haven't
Well,
played no one crazy.
But I mean,
Northview and Cherokee. Cherokee actually improved.
Cherokee, yeah. I mean, I still think
But you gotta think it's 4A, so any of those teams are still good teams.
Yeah, I mean, in
Yeah.
Region 2, we didn't talk about number 1. It's Anderson County. You got to do with
No-
Anderson County
no
every year.
shocker there.
Yeah, Anderson County's.
I
Always
mean,
been good.
every year most people look forward to Greenville,
Dude.
Anderson County.
I don't know. I'd have to pull it up on my phone. I saw this. Like, I didn't know it was Anderson County because they kind of look like a college team.
Yeah, they
And
do.
I
I
didn't
love
know.
their like bull mask they have, like
Look,
with the horns and stuff.
This is
Yes.
That's Anderson County.
Have you saw their
for sure.
entrance? Their entrance is like really really cool. Like they have
That is Anderson County.
they have masks and stuff.
You're
that they-
telling me that that's a high school team.
Look,
Well, they have
There's no
they
way.
have a helmet they put on and it has like metal mask on it. They must weld together. I don't know why we don't do that. We are like a welding school. But moving on to 5A, Sevier County. Well, in Region 1, Sevier County and Mo West. Sevier's got number 1 and Mo West has got number 2. And number 3 right now is Tennessee High with a win over Daniel Boone. I
And-
feel like it's very, very, very likely.
And,
As
then Crockett will get third with a win over Sevier County and Tennessee.
Anderson County is also sponsored by McDonald's, and they have a jumbotron. And I'm not. And
And they're
No,
actually an A under like Tennessee High. Well, Tennessee High I think has the nicest stadium. In
They got that
Tennessee.
castle.
It's so nice. The castle. That's so cool.
But dude, I saw something on over that Anderson County made on overtime.
Yeah.
You know how many people was out there because they had their last game last Friday or something.
Yeah.
You know how many people were at that game? 6,000. You know how I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but for a high school game,
That's a lot.
6,000
And
people.
Davy Crockett's number 4 with a Tennessee High win over Daniel Boone. So I think Crockett's gonna make. I mean, Crockett is guaranteed to make the playoffs right now, and Tennessee High's guaranteed to make the playoffs. It's just a seeding of who wins what and how and
Who's third and fourth?
yeah. And Crockett will have to travel if they're number 4, and I believe Tennessee High is gonna beat Daniel Boone. So I'm gonna say that they're gonna be 4, and they'll have to travel to Powell or Knox West.
Knox West.
Knox
is a
West
really
is
good team.
very good at football, and Powell has always been good. I mean, they got Aiden Green in college right now for Virginia Tech. He's a receiver, Walter Nolan,
Yeah.
their very own Walter Nolan. He's playing for Ole Miss right now. He's one of the biggest names in college football. Carson, we'll get on to that later
Yeah.
about college football, but I mean, I don't know Knox Central or Knox Halls, not Knox Halls at all, but I do know Powell and Knox West, and those are both really good teams. Knoxville ball is just so much stronger as you see looking at all these Region 2A teams. I mean, Region 2 teams, like they're all very good. Like we all know them for being very good. Now let's move on to I think the strongest conference, and obviously it should be in 6A. Dobbins Bennett, Science Hill, the winner's number 1, the loser's number 2. I mean, I think I've got Science Hill winning this game. I just think Dobbins Bennett's defense not going to be able to handle like deep passes that, like especially to Stephen Famoy. And I mean, they have Corbin Leisure. They can pull out at any given time and just throw it up to him.
And then they got that Wildcat offense with
Baylor.
Baylor.
Don't really play all. And I mean, we're underrating Science Hill's defense. Yeah, their corners ain't great, but like, I mean, their corners are good, but just they have their games. But their linebacker play is amazing. Cole Fleeman,
Yeah.
Baylor necessary. But Dobbin, it's going to be a defensive shootout. I think it's going to be low scoring,
And, yeah,
21-14, somewhere around that.
Yeah, my cousin is a linebacker for Science Hill. I mean, he tells me all the time like Nalik and all them.
Yeah.
Like
Now,
the
Lake's
amount
only a
of-
sophomore, I believe.
and
too.
apparently like the amount of linebackers Science Hill has is insane. Like apparently they're just a linebacker factory.
Yeah, and I mean, it's underrated. John Gator is blocking.
Yeah.
He is a goat at blocking. He pancakes everyone on that outside.
Yeah,
But
he's saying like his friend. But yeah.
Well, you said that 'cause it's your cousin.
Moving on. But he doesn't start. I
But-
didn't say it.
But Jefferson County and William Blunt's battling for 3 and 4. So this is simple for us. Jefferson County and William Blunt. It's win or loser for 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I think William Blunt and Jefferson County is a really good game because William Blunt's quarterback I think is really good. Gronkowski or whatever his name is.
Benikowski or something like that.
I don't know how he don't have any college offers. Just but like his awareness in the pocket should as a high schooler is very very good. But I'm not sure about both these teams, but I think William Blunt will maybe win this. I mean, either way, number 3 and number 4 has to go to Bearden or Maryville.
Speaking of Bearden, their quarterback just picked up an offer from UT today,
Wow.
That's crazy.
and he's looking at.
I'll watch him in 7-on-7 during the summer. He was crazy.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
He-
remember we
and
was talking about on this. It was at ETSU. We was talking about how he's launching like 60 yards.
They have that one
Casual.
receiver. I don't know his name, but he's number
He
4.
literally
He's
threw it 65 yards easily. I'm not even joking.
And
But-
I think he's looking at Bama. I seen where he went to the Western Kentucky game at the beginning of the year against, when they went to Bama and all that. So obviously they're going to versus a very good quarterback. So, it's going to be very tough.
Yeah, I mean, either way, these teams, I think, of course, Dobbins, Bennett, and Science Hill is going to end up, whoever wins that, and I still think either way, they're going to end up meeting Bearden and Maryville somewhere deep in the playoffs. 6A ball all around is just a really good football. And I guess in Region 2 6A, there is no fourth place spot because it's showing no fourth place spot on here. So Farragut's fighting for third, and Cleveland's fighting for third. Whoever loses that has to go play the winner of Dobbins, Bennett, Science Hill. So I think I don't think Cleveland or Farragut could beat. Farragut was really good a few years ago, but I don't think either of those teams could beat Science Hill.
I think we're looking at Cleveland being number third because for Farragut to be number third, they have to beat
Maryville. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and say Cleveland's number 3, and they've got to go play Dobbins, Bennett, Science Hill winner. And then Jefferson County, William Blount, whoever wins that has to go play at Bearden, and the loser of that has to go play at Maryville. So you're just fighting for your life at that point.
Yeah.
Because you do not want to go play at either of those teams, but you just kind of have to accept it. Kind of say it's your last two-raw this week for hope. But that's the end of this week.
Scenarios.
Yeah, for the playoff scenarios of this week. I mean, there's a few games that don't really matter, but like Chucky Doak, Gatlinburg Pittman, I believe. Gatlinburg Pittman's going to beat Chucky Doak. And this don't really matter for Gatlinburg Pittman, I don't believe that much, because it's not a conference game, and, they don't really got to worry.
I think they're the same.
What?
No, they're not.
Oh, Chucky
Yeah.
Doak 1A?
Check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same.
This is a
That-
conference
this is-
game.
Oh, it is a
Yeah.
conference game? I
don't think Gatlin-
don't know 3A.
See, Gatlinburg,
They're
their
pretty good.
record's 6-3, right?
I think so. No,
So they're
They lost to Johnson County. I know that. That's the only.
yeah, they
I
lost
know
to
of.
Johnson County.
I know they beat Unicoi.
Yeah, they beat Unicoi.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what
I
their.
don't think
But
I
I-
haven't heard much from Gatlinburg Pittman this year. They're usually a solid squad. Some people were saying, years back that they were like the Alcoa of 3A, and they
Mhm.
would just consistently win. But it don't really seem like that this year. But I could see they're gonna pick up an easy win against Chucky Doak.
Well,
I'm
that
pretty-
actually.
didn't we like Happy Valley used to play Gatlinburg Pittman?
We did.
Yeah, back in
I
like
think
2016.
they
And
was,
like
they
Sullivan
was
North,
in
wasn't
2A.
Yeah, well, that's when Sullivan North was a school.
That's when all of a sudden.
I think like we actually
Sullivan's
played good
out.
against them too.
Well, that's actually going to end all of our games for this week. We done went through them all, just talking about playoff scenarios. That's how big the playoffs are for this week. So we can go back to last week's games. We done talked about Eagleton, Hampton. I mean, Burleson had a big game on the ground, of course. He had 222 yards on 37 carries. They lost their quarterback in the first
First
quarter,
they
like
put Burleson at QB. And
Yeah, and
really
they
ran
just
Wildcat
kind of
on that.
QB lead the whole game. Burleson has very good contact balance. Like, it surprises me every time I see him run. And for Eagleton, Relation had 17 carries for 150
Colt
yards.
Relations. I hear his name a lot for them.
Yeah, their quarterback is amazing.
Oh yeah,
he
number
was-
11.
Yeah.
Number
Yeah,
11
he's
is so
fast.
Yeah, he's very fast, but number 7 for them. I mean, he
Oh,
had
yeah.
like a 40-yard run, I think, for a touchdown.
Nate Clemens.
Nate Clemens, he's a dog. He's tall, like he's got all the aspects like a college coach would want. Even if it's like FCS, like a D2 school, still he's got like all the aspects for him to be good.
They also have a
He gets
good
in the right train.
wide receiver.
And
His
he's got-
name's like Navarre McRisner.
It was a big game
Oh
for
yeah, Navarre. Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
him talking about Navarre.
it was a good game for them.
Navarre's the one that caught that one in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
It was a good game for him to show out in front of ETSU's coaches.
No, but he's got the good size. He's got size for it too. I mean, kid's like 6'2" or something. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jarrett always mentions like, we try to keep him in pocket,
But he can run it.
and when he gets moving, he's dangerous.
That's why we did so good against him. I think we
We kind of kept him in the pocket, and then but
And
there
but
was a
whenever
few
he got
times
out,
would
there was-
step up.
I
yeah.
sacked him twice.
I also
Very
got to say.
sacrifice.
I sacked-
And Zach.
I sacked
So
him
it
twice.
must have been not
Yeah, we had a bunch of sacks that game. I mean, our tomahawks on our helmet was flooding in from that game. Talking about games last week, a heartbreaker for Cloudland,
Yeah,
losing to
second
North Green
straight week.
24 to 22.
Oh.
That's so sad to drop into. They would have number 1 locked down right now if they
And
won
I'm
these
pretty-
last
I bet
two
if they
games.
played
And
them
I think
again-
they
I'm
lost
pretty
by
sure-
what? Like
I'm pretty
They
sure-
lost to a
3
combined
points.
3 points the last two
I was,
games.
yeah, wasn't the last game 22-24?
26-27
Oh,
to
wow.
Cosby.
That's insane.
I bet if Cloudland played them again, they would try a lot harder than I know
I
they
believe
try
it
hard.
was just
Try
the,
harder.
their senior
I mean,
night too.
Yeah,
this
that-
last
Yeah, I
week.
know. I mean, like they would put so much more effort. Like,
Cloudland,
I
for-
don't know. North Green's gotten so much better from
North Green's
past
actually pretty
years
good
that
this year.
we,
especially from like even the scrimmage we was in, they did a lot better.
yeah,
and Cosby just
out of
coming
nowhere.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Only having one loss or two losses. They lost to Granger,
Yeah,
and I don't know what the first one came.
Yeah,
from.
but isn't Granger like a 4A school?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's expected with 1A versus.
Which is
Yeah.
insane, right?
I
It's-
mean-
it's like the same thing with Westridge playing West Green. Like, how does that even happen? Like, why
Yeah.
are they even scheduled?
Talking about Cloudland, Grayson Cole, 28 carries, 221 yards. It's like kind of average. If you're a running back in Cloudland's offense, you're going to
You're
get
gonna-
20 plus carries and 200 plus yards,
Mm-hmm.
unless you just get shut down because you're going to get the ball so much. It's like Derrick Henry on the Titans. That's all they did.
You know,
Give the ball, give the ball, give the ball.
I know this was a while ago, but looking back at the Johnson County game, how they led the whole game,
Yeah.
it was 4th and 10 on their own 20, and Benfield ran a lot dive on a 4th and 10, and that ultimately set up Johnson County scoring and punching it in for a score.
And
they ended up losing that game barely.
Dude,
but
what?
Nor-
It's like kind of like Hancock, dude. It'd be like 4th and 40 or something crazy, and they would literally run like ice.
yeah,
Like, I'm like,
but that's just their identity. They don't look to pass. They don't want to pass.
Or if
They
they,
don't
did,
have
it's
to.
kind of like Unaka. They literally run out of the pocket and
And the screens.
just
and all
thought of
that.
hopes and praise.
Yeah.
speaking of Yaneka, let's just go ahead and get our game out of the way. Jamie
Big
over
game
here.
for James.
got climate player and like every other player of the
Every
week.
award you can think
He had
of.
2 touchdowns in 2 plays. And not counting kickoffs.
I will like to say, one sack. I mean, one interception that he got. I did sack the QB on that one. He
See,
did.
that's just good teamwork between
You know
two.
what? I did. You know, I did hit him pretty hard. And he threw the ball up. So that should
I had
honestly
2
be
touchdowns in the first 27
Also,
seconds.
yeah.
the person that
3.
didn't really get mentioned for having a good game is Mason Norman.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had a pretty
He
good game.
went insane in the first half, which that's all we needed to play was the first
Here's
half.
me after Jamie getting his first pick. That's me chasing Jamie down to give him a big old hug.
If we get to somewhere in this podcast and we show clips from the game, we'll go to that. I think it was like play 7. I hit that QB and he throws it up. We'll show you what we mean by he's throwing it up on hopes and prayers. Because he
Yeah.
would literally
Yeah.
look up and just launch it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I think
Jamie
they
having
knew-
a massive game. He had, what, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick?
2 picks.
2 picks.
I think
And
one
I'd
for
say a
touchdown.
good few tackles.
I think they knew it was over from the very beginning.
And we
Because
scored
I'd
the
go
first
out
play.
and walk him, and he'd just be like, oh, there goes Happy Valley scoring again. And then I'd just look over, and Tyler Bailey is literally just heaving for the end zone. And I was like, yeah, this is.
Murray, did you pick up the ball and get going?
Oh, dude. Yeah, Tyler fumbled right in front of me. I got like 4 more yards. But yeah, he literally grabbed my shoelace and I fell. I thought I was going to get a touchdown.
Would have been
But
so
honestly,
bad.
well, no, the closest I've been to a touchdown this year is definitely Cumberland Gap. I caught it and I landed on the 5-yard line.
Yeah. I think if you made a clean catch, you
I would have
scored.
scored. I definitely would have scored.
Speaking of yards and everything, I believe Murray has the most.
I'm the leading receiver.
I don't think you are. I think Jamie's
I
catch
think
is
I
bigger
am.
than
Dude,
yours.
Coach Farrell told me after ETSU I was the leading receiver because they went through the stats and they said we're. I don't know.
I have a 28
Either way,
reception and like
Ashton
240.
Wynn Gooten has more rushing yards than Carson has, and more yards overall than Carson
So
has
that
this
just
year.
And I think more yards. I think more.
Playing time too in
I think more
in
yard-
1 year.
What is it? Yards after
So-
yards after contact than Jamie.
Yeah.
So that
He
just
does.
shows
He has more yards after
If
contact.
I
that-
get touched at the line of scrimmage,
that
go
just
60.
shows that we're capable of scoring a bunch of points and letting our young guys get in.
Uh-huh.
That's
Ashton Wynn-
what you want.
and Ashton
You
Wynn
want
might be
you
better
want
than
young
Jamie.
guys. That's right. That's the topic of the day. Ashton Glenn, is he better than you?
No, he's not.
I don't know. We'll
I
have to
love
figure-
Ashton.
might have to
Ashton's-
we might
He
have to
asked
figure
me
it
how
out.
How's
my
your day,
day-
man?
He asked me how my day
You
is
probably
every
asked
single
him
day.
how
I
his
love
day-
that
You
kid.
probably asked the
Ashton's-
defender how his day was before he tackled him. He's
Ashton's
like,
great.
Yeah, he's a
And-
good
But
kid.
either way, for that game, domination for us. I think we could have maybe put 100 plus. I mean, we
If-
definitely could have.
was
But
No, there was no need to.
yeah, there was no
We're
need
not-
to.
I
We're,
mean,
we're
you
wanting to
put
keep that
Hank-
we
relationship
had
with
46
Yaneka.
in the
Yeah.
first half.
There was another domination. Science Hill, Daniel Boone.
Yeah, that. I mean, we expected that last week. 56-7, Science Hill, big game, of course. Murray, go ahead and
Bro, I said 55-7. I'm not even joking. You can go back to the last podcast. My prediction was literally 55.
Murray, go ahead and talk about this one right here. Davy Crockett, Dobbins Bennett.
I mean, I knew it was gonna happen. Daniel Boone, I'm pretty sure, has literally only won like 1 or 2. Have they won a game this year?
No,
No,
Oh.
they're winless.
0-2.
Well,
The fall off of Donovan Bennett has to be studied.
I mean, you mean
I mean, Daniel Boone.
But,
Daniel Boone, you know.
this is why Ashton's better. But on a real note,
Okay.
on a real note, no. I mean, I don't even know if Science Hill played their starters. I'm sure they did, maybe for the.
They did
first
for a
quarter.
little bit, yeah.
But like,
And that was just to get ahead.
I guarantee you, Science Hill's JV, the way Daniel Boone's been playing, would still beat Daniel Boone.
So, do you believe Crockett has a chance in the playoffs?
No, absolutely not. They're frauds. They got fraud checked the first game.
That's
they lost
right.
55-0.
And since we got a face cam, he's still not ducking it. Good job.
No.
Murray.
Talking
Matthew Murray right here. Crockett's frauds.
That's right.
talking about like a game that surprised me, Holston beating Joko last week by 11. I mean, that's really big for Johnson County to lose, not having an undefeated season. And then Westridge losing to Tennessee High last week, 37-14. I mean, we expected Tennessee High to beat Westridge.
But that's just a game you know what's gonna happen. Like no matter But I mean, when you put Westridge up against West Green like that, obviously they're gonna look good.
Yeah.
That's like putting up Cloudland versus Maryville and hoping.
Surprisingly, Bearden went into overtime with Mo West. I did not know that till I was just looking. That's
Oh, they
surprising.
did?
West
I mean,
seems to
every-
have improved because
well,
at the beginning of the season they looked doomed.
What region are they in?
I think they're 5,
Four.
right?
I think 5 or 4A.
Well, and every team has those games.
Yeah.
Like every I feel like every team, no matter who you play, has just those games. Like I feel like at the beginning of the year, we probably could have beat Cloudland by way more 9-0. But it was
yeah,
our
we
first
but
game.
but our offense is just hold the ball.
Yeah, we did. I mean, I think we held.
We had
it
a
up,
10-minute
10
drive
Yeah,
against them.
Yeah.
we literally wasted one quarter.
And Claiborne only beaten Cumberland Gap by
I
6
was really
points.
hoping.
Claiborne
I was
could,
really
say-
hoping Cumberland got would win that.
Claiborne could possibly go play Alcoa, and they actually probably will because Pigeon Forge just got to beat them.
Yeah.
And they just beat Cumberland Gap by 6. So I'm not sure what Alcoa is going to do with them, but
Probably looking
maybe
at
it's a
next week.
forfeit game we could see.
Once
Has
again,
forfeited against
forfeited
them.
against Alcoa
They
a
forfeit?
couple of years back.
Really?
Yeah, that's.
Didn't even play them. Wow.
But
Yep.
And
Going-
Michigan State did beat Thomas Walker. It looks like
It's not
41
Michigan State.
When did
It's
Thomas
Eastside.
Walker become a D1 college?
but
East side.
but either way, we're going to go on to college football now, Carson. If you want to start with our game of the week, right here,
Yeah,
right up
before-
here.
Yeah, our game of the week: Ohio State versus Penn State. Ohio State 3.5-point favorites against Penn State as they have a 61% chance to win. This game's at noon. It should be a night game. I don't know why Fox made it a noon game.
Because it's
they
Big Ten at
definitely-
noon.
They definitely should not. They definitely should not. That should not be that high of a percentage to win.
I don't
They
think
are.
Penn State
I
really
think-
has a chance because Penn State
What?
is
I think
terrible in big time games.
I think
He's right.
No,
Penn
no,
State has not shown up in big time games
Ever.
at all.
no.
They beat them
This
once.
is not going to be a blowout. I can guarantee.
Hey, it's not gonna be a blowout, but
I
like
don't think it'll be bullet, but I don't see Penn State
Penn
winning.
No.
State's going to win this game.
I think the odds for
That's
Ohio
my-
State
Hey,
are like 60
everybody's
to 30.
seeing it. $10 right here.
$10 right here. Penn State's going to win.
I
I'm
got
not
a
saying
lot.
I'll gladly shake your
Penn
hand.
State's going to win this game.
I don't have money.
No.
Penn State's going to win this game.
I mean, I just think Ohio's offense is gonna overtake Penn State's.
Wait, where are they
defense.
playing at?
At Penn State at noon, though.
At
If it was
Penn
a night
State.
game, I think it'd be different. But this is as soon as people wake up.
Penn State. If you do you know what happens when you play at Penn State? Have you heard?
Yeah, but I don't think it's wide out.
It doesn't have to be wide out. Penn State's Penn State. They're
Of course,
wide
it's
no matter
getting
what.
food.
So, handing our teachers lunch to them.
But no,
Say
Penn
hi,
State.
Mr. Enzer.
Say hi, Mr. Enzer.
Say hi, Mr. Enzer.
But no, Penn State. When you play at Penn State, I feel like it's just a different football game. That
At
crowd-
night, it's
It doesn't matter if
electric.
it's at night. That's like saying you don't have home field advantage. Why? Because it's 12. That doesn't matter. You always have home field advantage if you're playing at home.
That's true, but
It doesn't have to be wide out either. They're all.
I
it's
think-
Penn
I know. I was
State.
just looking up if it was wide out for him or
I
not, and it's
think-
not.
I
So
think
It doesn't
Fox-
have to be wide
I
out.
I'm
think
not
They don't
saying
have
it does, Murray. I'm just
I
saying.
think Fox messed up because this should be a night game. We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This should be a night.
I mean,
game. But this being noon, no one's really digging.
Wow,
into
that's how
a
well-
big
that's-
noon game. Like no one's really digging into that.
No.
So, I think, and this not, you mentioned that it don't matter if it's a whiteout or not. I just don't see Penn State matching.
I
up
think
with their offense.
I think
if
Penn
Ohio
State's gonna
does
be great.
lose, I think the crowd's going to be a big part of it because
It
of how
should.
loud they be.
I think-
I mean, it's a battle of good quarterbacks. Will Howard and Drew Allard.
I think Penn
Yeah.
State's been playing like great, and I mean I don't know. I think Penn State will be all over Will Howard, as we saw what happened. The defense was all over Will Howard in his last loss, and he literally at the end of the game forgot what to do. He quite literally slid with 1 second
Yeah.
left.
And that's why I don't see it as being a blowout. Will Howard hasn't really
This could
he
be.
hasn't had to play, and big time teams, and the one that he has played, he lost. And you would think, being a 3-year starter from Kansas State transferring, that you would kind of not question his decision making as he did against Oregon.
I think what he was going for there was to try to slide in field goal range and then call timeout.
Yeah,
But I don't think they
They
had
slid too late.
They had one time.
He's got to be looking at the jumbotron. at that
Yeah,
time.
they had one timeout left, but you have to like. I think the coach was. They also showed the replay, but the ref, the crowd, the ref isn't gonna hear the coach on the sideline yelling timeout.
Yeah, I just don't. This is going to be a big game for both quarterbacks, but I just. Will Howard mentioned in a press conference he wanted to go to Penn State.
And
They
they
didn't
did-
offer
yeah, I
him.
saw
So he's going to have kind of that killer mentality.
Could this
to
be a
see-
Jeremiah Smith big game too?
Good
It
deal.
could
yeah,
be, and it could be.
Is he 17 or is he 18?
He's
18.
18.
Okay.
He's my age.
I think
You're a little
Ryan
bit
Ryan
older
turned
than
18 too.
I hope so.
Like,
I'm tired of
hey,
hearing it.
Yeah, I think Ryan Williams. While we're talking about that, actually did turn 18. Like,
No, he turns. I know his birthday. He turns 18
In April, right?
on February 23rd.
I thought he
Actually,
turned-
no, it was February 9th, but he was born in 2007.
but I thought he was. So wait, born 2007.
I'm older than him.
Oh, he's older than me by a month. Let's go.
My Birtle Dirtle's on the day that we're talking about right now. Ohio Penn State, November 2nd.
Yeah, no one cares.
I'll be an 18 Birtle Dirtle.
Hey,
I
I'll
don't turn
be
18.
I'll be
till-
older than Ron Williams still.
I guess we'll go around and
Carson's
make.
always older than him.
We'll go ahead and make our for sure picks for Ohio State and Penn State.
Ohio
Is that-
State 21. No, it's not.
It's going to be
high
high. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be high scoring.
No, it will be high scoring, but no, I think.
I think
score.
it's like
38 35.
30,
38
yeah.
35
That's- yeah.
Ohio State.
And you said 30.
I think it's gonna be.
It's-
I'm gonna do 36, 31. Penn State.
It's at Penn State?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to have to take Penn State with a game-winning field goal.
Okay. Now my score
It's got a good
28-14
I don't have
Ohio
money.
State.
It's fine, but it's got a good
28-14 Ohio State.
No, we're not bad. Me and you both think Penn State.
Oh,
And-
okay.
I guess, this is really the big game that we've kind of saw on the schedule. So I guess looking back at the newly ranked teams, as Washington State is now ranked,
Colorado.
and Colorado.
Somehow
Coach
Colorado.
Prime is now
Go
ranked.
it.
I really wish
And they're
Vanderbilt.
bowl eligible for the first time
I really-
since 2016.
I really wish Vanderbilt stayed ranked. I don't know. I think that fight against Texas.
Talk about that real quick. How is Missouri? Okay, Missouri was in the top 25. How did Vandy drop out, only losing to Texas by 3? But Missouri lost to Bama by 33 and stayed in.
Yeah, it's,
I think Vandy should
That's crazy.
still have top 25.
yeah,
And
at least 20.
the Navy. I feel bad.
Or
for the Navy.
Memphis. Memphis is having a really
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
they're
year.
the Navy
25th.
and the Navy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really wish Navy was still in there.
Yeah,
But
Navy got
They got it.
rocked
They got
last
right.
week
Yeah,
by Notre Dame.
I think it was kind of a humbling game for Navy.
I think the
we-
coming too.
Yeah.
Was that what they call it? Like a
Navy's offense
Trap
is
game?
Notre Dame.
no, something runs.
I don't know.
A Cinderella run.
Oh, Cinderella.
Oh,
run.
Yeah,
yeah.
I couldn't remember. the name.
Right.
I think Army isn't a Cinderella. I think they're just a great team this year.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
they're
lie.
looking like
They
it.
played Notre Dame throughout the season as well as Navy did. So maybe
I think they play.
we
not
can
this week,
see
but
a
next
big,
week.
maybe College Game Day going to West Point.
Oh yeah,
go
it is
over
at
Army,
Army.
Navy.
It's at Army too.
Yeah. But, we speak about Colorado being ranked. Travis Hunter is, for the first time this season, is the Heisman favorite over Ashton Genty. So what do we think about that?
I still
I,
believe
s-
Jackson
I agree.
I don't.
I agree.
Yeah,
dude,
I mean,
120
I've
snaps
thought
again.
about it more. I've
120.
looked into it more. I believe it's Travis Hunter because he's given so much production on both sides of the ball. Yes, Ashton Genty's doing stuff we haven't saw like ever. What we
not
saw,
ever, but,
but
like, a
Barry
while.
Sanders, from Barry Sanders. But I think the best argument is his competition. Like he ain't really playing good competition, and that's kind of what we just keep on seeing over and over again. So.
Yeah, I'm going to say Travis Hunter is the clear favorite.
And while we're talking about it, look who Boise State plays.
Yeah, San Diego State.
Yeah, San Diego State actually used to be kind of good in football. And they're actually, them and Boise State are making a move to the Pac-12 in the year 2026, along with Colorado State.
See, look, if they were in the Pac-12 and Ashton was running the way he was, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
But
And I just think, you mentioned him having more production on both sides of the ball. I think he's also had, more star plays also. You mentioned, you go back to that game against North Dakota State.
yeah,
Even though they
that
were an
one
FCS
interception.
team,
that one interception.
PI, and then he's back shoulder
the
in the end
diving
zone.
one too.
Yeah. I mean, I just think he's explosive
May have the
player
best
all around.
celebration.
I think
And
it's-
you also got to think what kind of player he is. Like he's not
I
one
mean,
of those players that
I
chases
think-
it.
I think
He's
we-
followed Dion everywhere.
Yeah.
Like literally everywhere.
I think we could also talk about Cam Ward.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think it's between 3 right now. I mean, I'm not really seeing anyone else. Maybe.
Cam Ward carries Miami. I will say that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the whole team.
it's like the big 3. I don't know.
Cam Ward
It's a fight between.
I'm
them
so
3.
excited for college football playoffs.
I honestly thought Jalen Milroe was going to be in.
He's
the
kind
race,
of fell
too.
off.
Yeah,
I
he
know,
fell
but
off
like
the face of the earth.
the start of the season, I thought Jalen Milroe probably would have been like top 3.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Carson, does Bama got a game this week?
We're on the bye week, but next week will be rough as we go to LSU, and that is a night game. So
SEC at
we
dark.
might see Alabama with 3 losses, and you might not see me again.
But after that loss to Tennessee,
And I think that same week, I think Pig State has to travel to
It's
Moose
Villager
State.
Tech.
Yeah,
Old
Villager
Moo.
Tech. Old Moo. I think they have to try. I think that's a night game
Yeah.
too. With Hero Bryan
And-
commentating.
Neutral site game.
Army and Air
Florida,
Force.
Georgia.
Everbank Stadium.
Yeah.
Bro, Georgia's gonna dog walk them. Come on.
Well, yeah, but anytime,
Favorite team.
anytime it's a
I would
neutral,
like to say, born in Georgia, the only Georgia fan in here. We
That's
should
right.
be number 1. I don't know why we're not number 1. Oregon
glad
is
y'all beat
terrible.
Texas.
I think it's just where you have
I'm
a
very
loss.
proud.
Murray, talk about Army Air Force.
Oh,
Air Army's gonna destroy Air Force, which is still a good game though. It's always gonna be a good game because it's Army Air Force.
Doesn't Navy have a rivalry with Notre Dame? Like, or is it Army?
they
That's
just
got-
always play each other.
Oh,
okay.
That's how it is.
But no, Notre Dame plays all the Air Force, Army, and Navy.
And
Do
if
we
you
see
wanna pay
any-
attention
What is
to-
that?
Like-
Is that an American conference?
If you want,
know that?
yeah, American Athletic Conference. If you want to pay attention to your national champion, defending national champions, Michigan hosts Oregon at home.
Yeah, no.
in
How
what
are
is it?
they-
Big House.
Honestly-
Big house that seats 107,000.
is that Michigan? I don't know. I think it would be kind of.
I think. Listen, listen.
Well,
hear me out.
Texas
This could be a
walked in
big
there.
game. Texas,
Yeah.
South Carolina. South Carolina is a good
Hey,
football
Texas
team.
A&M
Defensive
is looking
squad,
good this year.
yes.
Texas A&M is looking great.
Texas
this year.
A. I think this is actually a good test for Texas A&M because
they
South
gotta go-
Carolina, even though 4 and 3 don't show it, they're a very good football team.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you got to look at those losses that they've had. They had
They'll be very good in the next
They
year.
one
do.
to Alabama.
South Carolina has the craziest schedule I've ever seen ever.
Is that SEC?
Have you seen Florida's?
Have you seen?
Yeah, they have lost. They have lost to LSU, Ole Miss, and Bama.
Yeah, so 3 kind of
And then
upper tier
after
FCC
Texas,
teams
after
that
Texas Tech, they
seem
got
close.
Vanderbilt.
I mean, they've beat
really good
Oklahoma. They beat Akron. That's expected.
And
And
they
Ole
look how
Miss.
close that Bama game was.
Yeah.
That
And it was at Bama, so that's impressive for South
Yeah,
Carolina.
Bama sucks this year, right, Carson? Okay. Anyways,
It's a work in
do you
progress.
think Indiana is going to lose to Michigan State this week?
I don't think so. I think
Wow.
Indiana will go.
Are they the real deal? Is what I'm
They
asking.
will be undefeated until they get to Ohio State. They got to go to Ohio State and play.
Ohio State's got some big games.
I don't see them winning against Ohio State, but playoffs is definitely a for sure for this Indiana team. As you know, their new head coach,
And
he wins. Like that's all he's known for is winning, and Indiana's just shown how good they can be. And sadly, I don't think they'll beat Ohio State, but they can make a play.
Could this be a trap game for Tennessee?
yes,
Kentucky, Tennessee.
it
Could
depends.
this be a
Honestly,
trap?
as a
Kentucky is a good defensive squad.
as
I won't-
Offense,
I won't-
terrible.
I won't speak much on it because I'm not a Tennessee fan,
Let
but
me-
I will let Jamie.
Okay, so Kentucky is the most 50-50 team I have ever seen.
agree.
They have
got-
lost to Auburn, Florida, Vandy,
And then they
In a
lost.
row.
Georgia.
In a
Okay,
row.
Georgia, they lost by 1 point.
Right.
They lost to Ole Miss by they beat Ole Miss. I'm sorry, they beat Ole Miss, who was ranked 6th at the time, and then they lose to like.
That was the
Florida.
same week we was at South Carolina.
Kentucky.
I remember watching that.
You know, you mentioned that Ole Miss win that Kentucky had. That was at Ole Miss.
Yeah,
And
like,
So they are capable of walking in and winning.
I think.
And I think
whoever
Kentucky.
that
I
said
think
the trap
Kentucky.
game.
I think Kentucky always plays good against Tennessee too. Like every year.
Yeah,
they play
and
good.
Brock Vandergriff. I mean, I remember watching him during that Ole Miss game. He just, I mean, the South Carolina game. He just ain't good. He has 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions this year.
Yeah.
That's almost going 50-50, and that's not what you want. They just don't have that good of an offense, but defensively,
Yeah,
I think they're very
yeah.
good.
That's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I
think
think was UT
I
wearing
think-
those? Is UT wearing those black jerseys?
Yes.
Yes.
Those are so
Nightmare.
nice.
Now, what I don't like
So nice.
is in NCAA that they have Tennessee's defense as a 79.
the last game.
Oh, yeah,
the
NCAA
last game we're
messed
going to talk
everything
about
up.
before we go on to local games is SMU Pitt. 7-1 SMU.
Both
Seven,
ranked games.
seven
Both
and
ranked.
oh.
But
Both ranked, 8 p.m. Carson, you know a little bit more than me about college football. Let's hear about Pitt and SMU.
You know, Pitt hasn't had this great of a start since not Kyle Pitts. Kenny Pickett was the quarterback for them. I could look for Pitt to win against SMU.
Their only
SMU,
loss is to
SMU only
BYU.
losing to BYU, and
Who is
BYU
really good this year.
does BYU are they in a bye week this week?
Yeah.
I believe they
Yeah, I
are.
think they are.
SMU being new to the ACC, and they've shown that they
But
can compete in the ACC.
But they haven't played
But-
anybody
They
yet.
haven't played really
Yeah.
anybody.
They have played West Virginia,
got a-
Youngstown, North Carolina, Cal,
They ha-
Syracuse, Kent State.
They have a rough few weeks.
Kent
Like
State
they go
needs
to,
me.
they got SMU, and then they go to I think Virginia, and then they go to Clemson. Who I think Clemson's
I would
pretty
say
good this year.
for this, as we wrap up this Pitt and SMU game, I would say the winner of that will probably see Miami in the ACC championship. Now, go talk about Miami. You know, Cam Ward being a Heisman contender and all that. I could see Miami possibly having 2 losses going into the ACC championship.
Yeah, for sure.
And like that's just the team that they've always been. They've always been consistent, and then towards the end of the season, you know, they fall off.
Yeah.
There was 1 year they was undefeated, lost to Pitt before having to verse Clemson, and then lost to Clemson, and I don't think they made the ACC championship.
Yeah.
So it's very. You could possibly see Pitt or SMU in the ACC championship, and you might see a win from either of those teams, depending on how good Miami stays consistent.
Yeah, right now looking at
The playoff
like a
picture.
playoff picture for right now. I know it's far away. How many more weeks do we got, Carson?
I
You
think
sure?
We got 3 or 4 weeks, and you got including conference championships. That, you know,
I mean,
out of
it's,
the Power Four conference championships, you know, it's not going to be who deserves 1, 2, 3, and 4. You win your conference championship, you're getting a home playoff game,
yeah.
and that's big for some teams, and that could be big for SMU
Yeah,
or
especially in
Pitt.
college sports, home playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at it right now, Oregon's 1, Georgia's 2, 3's Miami, and 4's BYU.
I would.
So
I
I
would
think BYU's going to get beat before the playoffs.
I would. Yeah. I
Dude, I
could.
don't
I think they
BYU's
bump into
tough this
Iowa
year.
State before around conference championship time. Even if they don't, they could play Iowa State in the conference championship, and I could see. I'd be on the lookout for Iowa State. They've
I take-
really shown improvement.
I
Dude,
take back
BYU
what I just said
BYU's
about
tough this year.
BYU. They have played only Kansas State really as and SMU as their like ranked games this year, and I mean they got a Utah, Kansas, Rock Top, Arizona State, and Houston. That's what I said. No, I
Every time I
didn't.
say
Anyway.
Houston, I just think of basketball.
But I
Yeah.
and Boise's 12, so they'd be going against Penn State at Penn State, and then Tennessee's 8 playing Notre Dame at home. That would be a pretty good game, but I think
Look,
Tennessee would
Tennessee's
win
at
by a lot.
home.
I'm looking at this playoff picture, and it's weird. You don't see a crimson egg in that picture.
Huh.
And it's just very
I
weird.
Well, you know why it's not weird?
Why?
Because we see a red G, and that's usually
That,
what
and
always
that's
happens.
yeah.
And then it would also be Texas and Texas A&M.
It'll be like the first
at,
time we've ever made the playoffs.
at Texas, and then it'd be Ohio
And
at
I'm not
Clemson.
used to
And
this.
Tennessee will destroy Notre Dame, but then Oregon will absolutely.
No.
Oh yeah, they are.
No.
Come
But-
on, dude.
But the Tennessee will definitely be Notre Dame. But
Okay.
they're not getting past Oregon.
Well, let's go on to local games and get this episode on done with.
yeah. Moving on to local games, I don't.
Nothing really
There's-
local this week.
They're all away, but you know, if you're in the Alabama region, ETSU, they're playing at Mercer. You know, ETSU got ranked into the
Top
What are they?
25.
Are they
top
23?
25 in FCS AP poll, as they are 23rd,
Yep.
and they're on a 3-game win streak. Last week, going on the road to Wofford and
Winning for the
winning
first time in like
since
30
the first
years.
time since 1997.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, ETSU. Played at ETSU last week. Very good environment.
Yeah, ETSU's locker room was in, and I don't think that was even their main
Yeah,
locker room.
they
That's-
offered Murray right after the game. I saw
No,
the coach.
but Coach Hicks was telling us about how they have a game locker room and then like a main locker room.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's their game locker room. I wonder what that main locker room looks like.
Yeah.
Because apparently Coach Hicks said they have like recliner chairs, like they're getting in and stuff, like D1 schools.
And speaking of ETSU, their last loss coming from Chattanooga, and Chattanooga's looking really dominant after starting 0-3 as they go to Western Carolina. Chattanooga's on a 5-game win streak after starting 0-3.
That's
They're
good.
looking. That's fantastic. That's great. I
Is
could
North
s-
Dakota State still ranked 1 in
Yeah.
FCS? I wish ETSU would have pulled that off to see
That
where
would've
they'd be
been
right
so
now.
That would have been
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
Did you
Okay.
see where ETSU's kicker missed a kick because of a cannon? whenever they was playing someone. I think,
His cannon shot off.
and it scared the kicker, and he missed the kick.
Yeah, it wasn't the kicker, it was the holder.
Oh, the holder.
Yeah, the holder bobbled the snap.
A couple more games as Austin P heads to North Alabama for an Ohio Valley Conference game. Austin P is not really looking good this year. They just got another win against Utah Tech, who hasn't won a game all year. And I wouldn't really look for Austin P to win against North Alabama, but if you happen to want to travel and watch them, then yeah, that's the game you want to go to. The last local game, actually no, we got two more. Middle Tennessee, with an Elizabethton native, Parker Hughes going there and playing linebacker. They go to UTEP, who UTEP is making a move to the Mountain West due to the departure of Boise State.
They're going to the Pac-12, right?
Yep.
Pac-12 after dark.
I don't know why it does that. But yeah, and the only local game is Kentucky versus Tennessee. And Tennessee is wearing their all-black uniforms, and they're 16-point favorites.
Talking about ATSU before we end this last thing I'm going to talk about. Gavin Knack, right? Pitcher for the Dodgers went in from Johnson City.
Oh, dude, wait.
Yeah, congrats to him.
And
Speaking of that, Garrett Cole not covering first last night kind of screwed the Yankees.
And also, I want to talk about how Landon Knack had his career high in strikeouts in the World Series.
That's
So like
very
how
great for
Evan
him.
Carter from Elizabethton won in the World Series. Landon Knack from Science Hill as a pitcher, which is, I think he went to ETSU too.
He did.
And that's
Second round draft pick.
yeah.
for the
Even
Dodgers.
going in the MLB is crazy, but even more crazier winning the World Series and getting there and playing the Yankees.
Yeah, granted, he pitched in the game that they lost. They only lost to the Yankees. But anytime we can have someone,
he didn't have a bad game.
Anytime we can have someone local play on the biggest stage in any sport,
That's
that's
pretty cool.
great.
And having Shohei Ohtani DH for you is like the biggest. Like I would literally, even though you don't hit, I'd brag about that. I'd be like, you know, my DH.
And he gets
Shohei
paid a
Ohtani.
lot of money to not swing a bat. Think about that.
And he's one of their best one of being like a high caliber pitcher on the Dodgers is.
Yeah.
Speaks for itself.
Yeah, you mentioned the pitcher, and I'd just like to say congrats to the Dodgers. Winning their 8th World Series yesterday. Yankees seem to be blew it, 5-0 lead, and then
Didn't step on
Wasn't the
first. No
final-
one covered first.
I
And
don't know what
Wasn't the
happened.
final
There goes
score
the
like
run.
7-6?
It was 7-6, but you mentioned Evan Carter winning the World Series with the Texas Rangers. Anytime we can have someone local, like I said,
I wonder if
playing
he'll
on
come
that
back.
big stage.
I think he was.
I wonder if he'll
injured.
come back like Evan Carter did, like
I think-
the little parade thing.
I think Evan was. I think Evan's injured this year.
I think he
he
was.
was on IR this
I
year.
think he got.
The
if I'm
I
Rangers.
think
not
he broke his
mistaken,
hand or
I think
something.
they send players down that are injured
Yeah.
to like get them, back in the
Reps.
rhythm.
It's like rehab.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
what.
that-
That's what they did with.
Yeah,
Was
start.
it Bryce Harper that did that like not too long ago?
Yeah, and they actually did it with.
Yeah, and he was
Actual
nuking.
Yeah, Bryce Harper dropped. He had like 4 home runs in one game. Like,
Yeah.
that just shows what a different caliber it goes from like AA, AAA, and then MLB, like majors.
But
But yeah, big
No,
congrats
no,
to
yeah,
him
no,
as he wins the World
we're
Series,
reaching
and
out.
we're happy for him.
and that'll be all for this episode of Beyond the Stands.